Ian, we got voicemails to listen to, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We do got some
Go to
voicemails.
anchor.fm/the CU podcast. And there you get to leave us a short voice message. You know, some people attempt shtick. I won't try to judge you too much on the shtick there. And yeah, here's our first one.
Hello, this is Jethro from Boa Constrictors, the band. Look them up. I was wondering
Okay, Jethro.
when
He laughed at it.
the CU podcast flashback console's coming out, or the Ian Popsicle Magic console flashback cart with all your classics from your memories.
You're struggling there, Jethro. Okay, well, we're doing a flashback CU console.
Ian, this is TJ.
Oh, sorry, TJ.
I like the way you shilled your artistic project, Jethro.
Look him up. Okay.
That's about how enthusiastic I usually get about my things. What do? I do a podcast about food. I do a podcast about video games. Anyways, as far as that console, you stay tuned, buddy.
Hey, Pat and Ian, this is Alex from Winnipeg. Just wondering, what do you guys think is a gaming franchise that is kind of long dead and needs a resurgence, or it's just not as popular and should be a little more in the spotlight? Also, alternatively, what do you think is a franchise that just needs to go away altogether? Love the show, guys. Take it easy.
I always love the franchise that needs to go away. It doesn't affect me as much as I don't like Rock Band, Guitar Hero. I don't mind if others do. I just don't. I don't care.
I agree with that in a way, but as a person who worked in and still does for a little bit while longer a video game store, I could tell you that it's not the Madden that I really want to see go away. It's the Assassin's Creed that I would like to see go away.
Why is that? It's just
too
many games.
I think anyone who listens to this who works in video games will probably works in game retail will nod knowingly when I say this. It's the Assassin's Creed games that take over your fucking shelves.
Because there's like 17
Because there's one every fucking year, and there's 8 million of them, and they just like the Call of Duty games constantly keep moving through the store, no matter which ones they are. They move.
The
they
Assassin's
sell.
Creed don't. They just sit there.
They sell. The Assassin's Creed games, they sell, but not at the rate that they come in. Like every fucking trade for a 360 or a PS3 that is above 5 games in a stack is going to have an Assassin's Creed in there. I think we have 1 1/4 rows on our racks of just Assassin's Creed games.
All right. What about a franchise that needs to come back?
I'd love to see SSX come back with an actual. So SSX was EA's like extreme snowboarding game. It was bright, colorful, crazy tricks. Loved it. SSX 3 is one of my favorite video games.
I gotta shut the window. Sorry, go on.
Specifically, SSX 3 is one of my favorite video games. It's a joy to play. It disappeared for a little bit, and then they tried to do another one on the 360 and PS3, but they tried to make it realistic, completely like destroying the reason why people like SSX. You don't take a game that is cartoony and weird like Mario Kart and then try to fucking make it straight and narrow. It'd be like if the next Mario Kart was a Gran Turismo game.
Oh, okay.
So SSX, I'd love to see that series come back.
All right, next.
Hello, Pat and Ian. It's Leo from Los Angeles. I have a question for both of you.
Go.
What was the first game you ever beat, and at what age? Mine was Aladdin on the Super Nintendo at the age of 4. All right, thanks again.
Going back to Commando, the Commando PC game, I must have been 6 years old. That I'm trying to think if there was any bootleg PC games I beat before that actually had like a beginning and an end that weren't just like, I definitely didn't beat like F-15 Strike Eagle when I was, 6. I didn't know how to play it. I think I figured that out years later, how to actually play that game, how to fly towards stuff, you know what I mean? They figured out the geometry of all the lines and the altitude and stuff. But probably Commando, I want to say. That was the first one. It's only 4 stages, but I did it.
It's tough for me to think of what it might have been. I really have no idea.
Wow. Okay, you never
I
thought about
have
that.
always been very bad at video games. I literally don't know what the first video game I actually beat was. I may not have started beating games until I was like 10 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. There was just a listen on shopgoodwill.com, and there was 27 sealed Nintendo games that went off for $30,002. If you had $30,002, would you spend it on the games, or what would you spend it on? Thanks, guys. Great podcast.
So this happened about what, like 5-6 weeks ago. My mom brought this up to me. She must have saw a news clipping. This made news.
Really?
I think this was on like one of the Good Morning America shows. I might have done something like this. Yeah, we talked about it when it happened. There was a listing that.
Oh
happened.
yeah. I didn't know that it was on like.
My mom mentioned it. She's like, yeah, I saw this about a thrift store. I said, yeah, Mom, that was the Goodwill. She said, no, it wasn't that. I was like, no, Mom, that was it. I followed this stuff. It was a Goodwill.
I promise.
Yeah, I promise you, it doesn't get past me. Yeah, there was like a Metroid in there. There was some other games. It was like an eclectic mix of stuff. And so, would you spend your money on that?
No,
to flip it or no?
No, absolutely not. I would.
Ian's not a flipper. Ian's not a invest a lot of money and then hopefully get a gain on that. Type of guy.
No, I'm not. I've said this before. We've had similar questions. At this point in my life, all I really want to do is travel and eat, and that's what I would spend that money on.
You want to do the travel and eat podcast with Pat? You want to go to Japan? We'll start with Japan. No,
I'm going to Japan with Bonnie.
I'll tag along. You won't see me. I'll buy a seat right behind you. I'll put on my disguise, the glasses,
nose, and a mustache.
I'll just start filming videos impromptu. I'll be like, hey, it's me and Ian here. And I'll be like, Ian like 30 feet away, like looking at, I don't know, Japanese seals. Do they have seals in Japan? No, I don't think they have seals there. Okay, what's next year?
Hey, this question's for Pat. This is Ed from San Diego.
Hey, Ed.
I was hoping you could provide all of us listeners out there a nice handy list of all the musical references that you make on the podcast. For example, you've got Drop, you've got
Beastie Boys. Come on.
Yeah.
That's Drop. I don't have it on here anymore.
While.
It's been a while.
That's
That's
Stained.
Stained. Come on. It's been a while.
Ew, you got rid of Drop for that?
Drop was too long to get there. Yeah.
Evolution.
Evolution is it was a WWE. It was Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Batista, and Triple H. That was their theme song by the guy who just died a couple years ago, Lemmy from
Motorhead.
Motorhead.
You've got Lately.
Lately, did you ever hear a thing? I don't know who sings that.
That one
song.
I don't know.
That was a 90s sucked for music, by the way.
Which I really have no idea where that one comes from. And if there's any other ones that I'm forgetting,
I'm sure you are, Ed, but that's about it.
You're the one who mostly makes those references, but I do just want to point out that Wholehearted by Extreme has been a song that I have sang on this podcast twice now. And
it's a genuine. I go to that's a good song.
No, there's a hole in my
that one.
heart. I love that song. I just came to the conclusion the other day. I was like, damn, I like that song. I love that song.
Was that late 80s?
It's by Extreme. I think it's 91 or 92.
Yeah, you still have some 80s sensibilities bleeding into the early 90s there. Are you bringing it up because it wasn't mentioned?
I just wanted to point. I was just thinking about music references and the fact that I really like that song.
Oh, okay, Ian. Good for you.
Well, I've made the reference twice.
Okay.
It's a music reference on the podcast.
Okay. You feel jealous that you were left out of that question.
No, I don't. I was thinking about Wholehearted.
Sure. Okay.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Aaron from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
You're not calling.
I've been rewatching the video game years, and I noticed a certain Mr. Tommy Talarico. I had completely forgotten he had been involved with the show. So I was curious if the feud runs deeper than we know. Was he difficult to work with going back that far? Is his current behavior no surprise at all? Thanks. Keep up the good work.
It's fun when people say you worked with this person on video game years. They were literally hotel room interviews.
Yes.
With so those interviews took place. They were July 2012 Classic Game Expo. The only time I ever went to them. I was still I quit my job. I quit my job that summer. So it was like right after I quit my job. It was like that July. I quit my job 9 years ago. My awful fucking job.
Wow.
So that weekend we interviewed, it was Granddaddy John D'Elia, the Retroware Daddy. Lance was there.
Retroware Daddy.
Game Chasers were there. I was there. And a couple other people. And it was like 3 days in Vegas. It was hot as balls. I mean, it was like 115 degrees. It was hot. And so we rounded up people to interview. I personally interviewed Howard Phillips. So when you see that, I did that interview, which was, I had to keep my composure because it was like, that's the only time I was ever starstruck was meeting Howard Phillips. Seriously. It's the only time I was ever starstruck at all was meeting Howard Phillips. But, and then Keith Robinson was interviewed by John, as well as David Crane, as well. I think Lance helped as well because he appears in there. Chris Kohler was there. Bob Mackey. We rounded up everyone that weekend. But I didn't do most of the interviewing. I forget if I did Chris Kohler or not, or part of Chris's. I think I might have done Chris's. Chris's and Howard Phillips, I think I might have done those, but I'm not positive. And then Tommy Talarico was interviewed by John. And I met Tommy briefly. The thing I hear about Tommy is that he never remembers people. Like he kind of knows he doesn't remember meeting because he's made up lies about meeting me. That was actually the first time I met Tommy. I met him briefly. He came in the room. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" and whatever, and just left. And then so I did not work with him, quote unquote. When you say work with people in video game years, it's interviews, So there you go. Who knew that finger cage?
Finger cage
with adoration. We used to say finger cage.
Tommy Talarico
for years.
Cage. Yeah.
And then things went sour.
Things went south.
He not just ruined a system, he ruined the finger cage.
Yeah, he did.
Reference. He really did. We don't do it anymore. We used to do it every once in a while, out of just fun.
Hello, Pat and Ian. My question is,
okay,
who is your favorite Peanuts character and why?
Oh God.
Josh, I love you, Josh. That could have been 4 seconds, not 14 seconds.
The answer could also be 4 hours, so I'll try to keep
Give me
it to
one
just
or two. Give me two.
A couple minutes. Snoopy genuinely is a character that I love because he's fucking weird. You look at the 50 years of it, you look at him constantly taking on different personalities. He does not like people, but he's constantly trying to be people. That's weird. I think he's trying to figure out people the entire time that you read that comic.
You can see that's why Watterson adored Charles Schultz. You can see some of that influence in Calvin Hobbes.
I also always really liked the Marcy Peppermint Patty dynamic, and I've always...
it was a weird dynamic because she was a tomboy, right? Peppermint Patty, but they were still kind of by the hip, but they had really different personalities.
Well, Marcy, Marcy was very dry and snarky to Patty's boisterous and loud personality.
But they still somehow got along.
Yeah. And I like Linus. I like Linus a lot too.
I like Linus.
Linus is full of problems himself, but he's always trying to be the voice of reason.
Well, that's what you want out of a character right there. I would do a few more here.
Hey, Pat and Ian. First time, long time. I guess this is mainly for Pat. How do you deal with the anxiety of letting strangers into your house, from people doing maintenance or cleaning to dating and one-night stands? Additionally, when is a good time to bring up your collection in a new relationship? Have you ever had any woman just nope out? Thanks.
Well, I don't think bringing a date home or doing a one-night stand would end up in the game room. That's one of the reasons I got Castle Country, was to keep that shit sequestered away from the normies of society. You know what I mean? When I have someone over, like when I refinanced earlier in the year, you have to have someone do an appraisal. It's a screw job though, because the bank hires and the people doing the mortgage hires the appraisal. The appraisal came in like $300,000 lower than what the house is worth. Whole other conversation. I'm not mad at all. They fucked me on an eighth of a percentage point. Anyway, so having him come in and be like, oh, this is interesting. And you're like, yeah, you don't think they're going to take something. They'd have to have knowledge of what to fucking take, first of all. It would be like me walking into, I don't know, a depression glass. That's why mom likes a depression glass collection. I don't know what's worth money. I don't know what to do with this shit. And since we're like knee deep in this, so we think other people know what this shit is. They don't. They have no idea. Oh yeah, I played that when I was a kid, and that's where it usually starts and ends. They don't know that a game on the shelf there is worth like $3,000. They don't know what peekaboo poker is.
Right.
They have no clue. They wouldn't know what to start. They'd have to have had advanced knowledge. Unless I see a guy go on his phone, unless I see a plumber like go in my room, like go on his phone, oh, most expensive video games, and then figuring out which ones to pick off the shelf, and finds a magical chase. That's probably not going to happen. It's more about the people that know it. That like I talked about, like at my condo, I'd have a couple people over that like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I would not do that today. I would not have mostly strangers over.
Right.
To like do a game trade, that would not happen anymore. Then what was the other part of the question that I was going to comment on? Oh, there was a woman back in the garden apartment days that you can see in my early NES Punk videos, like the great ones with Allison, like Panic Restaurant. The shelves were out in the open in the living room because we're talking a garden apartment. There's like 4 rooms: kitchen, dining room, living room, and bedroom. That's what it is. It's a 1-bedroom apartment.
Sure.
It was roomy as hell though. It was great for what I was paying with my own washer and dryer. It was fantastic. But it's a 1-bedroom. If you have a 2-bedroom, you can have that shit there. Like my condo was a 2-bedroom. So there was one girl I went on 2 dates with, and I think we came back briefly to my place the first date, but either way, in the second date, and they were fine dates. We came back, and she looked around. She looked at the shelves, and maybe this was her out, or maybe she was like on the fence. But it was the second date, so the first date went well. She looked around the shelves, and she said, "Wow, this is some 40-year-old version stuff." And the 40-year-old version had come out probably like the year before. When did that come out? Like 2006. That was 15 years ago. That's what blew up Steve Carell, that movie, right after Daily Show.
Yeah.
2005. So this probably happened 2006, 2007. I moved to my garden apartment in 2006. She said that. I'm like, I thought, yeah, I'm not seeing her again. But most of the other women that saw that stuff were like, cool. They're like, oh, I remember playing Duck Hunt. You know, it also wasn't the volume of this though. It was literally just the 2 shelves. You know, we're talking like I had 1/5 the game collection. Not 1/5, 1/20th the game collection I had now. 1/20th was the size of my game collection back in New Jersey 15 years ago.
Sure. Yeah, it couldn't have been nearly.
I only had like 500 NES games. I have several thousand games now, like several thousand. So I don't even know how many games I have. I never counted it, but it's probably 4,000 to 5,000, something like that. Ian's like, damn, that's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe 4,000. So anyway, what was I saying? You'll do 2 more. 2 more.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
This is Bob, and I'm calling to ask you guys' opinion on Intellivision Amico physical release games.
They're not physical. I'll just cut you there, Bob. They're not physical. They're RFID cards. They're hiding it for whatever weird reason.
You can call it a physical.
It's a physical product, which is what they probably said legally. We can't call it physical media.
It's not physical media. It's not on there. It will not allow you to play the game after the servers go down.
No.
End of story. As we've said, I think the most that we can expect to be wowed by this is if there's no license restrictions on it, basically. So you can use it time and time again, take it over to a friend's house, essentially resell it.
Yeah.
Which would open it up to some amount of piracy, but I think that they may be willing to accept that so they can say they've got some sort of gotcha that's never really been done.
But then you have to find another person in your state that has an Amico. So good luck with that.
Right.
I mean, yeah. And we'll do one more. Speaking of Amico.
Well, guys, it looks like you were right about our 3rd delay with the Amico. Congratulations. I was trying to stay optimistic, but you and all these negative Nancy's I got working for me just had to go and kill the whole vibe I got going here. But it's not my fault. I had them all ready to go, and they were stolen. It was the same guy who had all those PS4s in that warehouse. You know, Vinny Shabnamagurgle, whatever his name is. I leave the gate open for 5 minutes to go get my Papa John's, and all of a sudden I come back and boom, they're off to the Ukraine, just like that. Sucking up electricity with those LED lights, mining cryptocurrency for Vinny Shabadoo McGuffin. I tried to go to the cops about it, and they were laughing at me. They thought I made that name up. They said, Tommy, all the guys on the force got a lot of respect for you for doing that oof sound in Roblox, but you're on your own here, buddy. But I'm not on my own, okay? I got the Amico Mafia. You'll all be hearing from us real soon. Arrivederci.
Oh, no. Wow.
Oh, no.
Tommy.
Not Arrivederci.
Wow. You're going East Coast Italian on us now. Wow. You're bringing out the Italian. Woo. That was an action-packed 1 minute.
That was.
There.
Wow. It's like a really good movie where you're like, wow, that was a 2.5 hour long movie. I thought it was 20 minutes. That was like 20 seconds.
That was you had pizza drama, you had theft,
Yes.
you had a veiled threat from an Amico Mafia. We were getting pulled along for the ride. We laughed, we cried.
You've got the boys in blue.
Yeah, the boys in blue you're talking to. Oh wow, that could be one of my personal favorites.
That's definitely up there.
That's up there. That's a top 3 right there. There's probably been like what 13 or 14 so far.
Yeah.
At least.